Today on Gabbing with the Guru, I have one of the most outright distinctive bands on the planet with me. Pulling sounds from everything from ska to jazz to heavy metal to soul, and putting it all over a fantastic reggae groove, the guys from Lionize were kind enough to take some time to speak with me before they played a live show here in Brooklyn, and later we rolled tape as best we could in their wall-to-wall packed live performance. So you guys really have one of the most unique sounds that there is right now, just the combination of influences you can hear in your music. How did you guys actually come together as a band?
The three of us kind of knew each other in high school, you know, and played around with different people and stuff. We got together at the end of that, and he went to college for 1 year, came back, joined back in. That's pretty much it. We got Mel, what, 3 or 4 years later, off of Craigslist. Well, I think he was looking for musicians to play with.
Okay.
And then we went to like steal.
He was in a band that was looking for a singer, and I checked out the band because we were looking for a drummer, and we saw that he was awesome. So I wrote an email to their band saying, I'm interested in auditioning for your band, but I gotta run some things by the drummer first because I'm really into the rhythm section thing.
You had some questions to ask.
I had some questions to ask, and then he forwarded me his cell phone number. I was like, hey man, want to join our band? And that was it.
Nice, nice. It worked in the end.
We poached him.
Yeah. And I had already known about the guys and stuff, so.
So the kind of area you guys come from is really known for the hardcore scene, the DIY movement, and there are traces of that within your music. I guess what I'm kind of wondering is, how did you guys come out of that scene and not be just another hardcore band from that area?
We're a lot more interested in like the go-go sort of funk scene that goes on in DC, more so than we were into the hardcore scene as kids and stuff, you know.
So like I didn't like Trouble Funk,
I didn't
like
really
that.
go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Chuck Brown, that kind of stuff, you know.
It had already passed.
Yeah.
By the time we were going to shows, that stuff was really stuff of legend that, you know, was already on this grand pedestal. You weren't there to see it, so I'm not going to tell you about it thing before we were even going to shows, and it was already the post, how many posts you put, hardcore.
You know.
And with that, you guys tour quite a bit, to put it mildly. Do you guys write your songs on the road? Do they happen during sound checks, during shows? I mean, when do you have time to actually kind of concentrate on that second creative process?
We generally do it in rehearsal. You know, like we practice like 5 times a week when we're at home.
Okay.
And you know, we try to keep it like a regular job. And our rehearsals we don't ever work on old material. It's always just writing.
We'll write lyrics, and you'll have like lyrics and pieces of riffs that you'll like come up with on the road. But like the way we work is so dependent upon all 4 of us doing it at the same time that all that stuff is just sort of, you know, ammunition to work with. We don't really have anything fully figured out until we all play it.
It's usually a collective jam, and then we sort of start deciding how arrangements can happen. Maybe harmonic. Almost everything starts out with us jamming on 1 chord.
So then in a way it's almost a jazz theory where you kind of have the theme and you just kind of keep building it out?
Yeah, sort of. Almost, yeah.
Yeah, because if we know what's going to happen, then that's boring. So we don't want to know what's going to happen. We want to sort of find out.
There's one track that keeps standing out to me on the most recent record, and that's the Ballad of Ronnie Buttons, which in a way I almost sometimes I hear it like a newer, updated version of A Boy Named Sue, but it's a very, very dark song. Where did that originate from?
Lyrically, I wanted to write something that was narrative, because we hadn't done it. And I guess Johnny Cash was sort of a reference point for that, although you know, we're not foolish enough to sit down and be like, let's write a Johnny Cash song.
Right.
I didn't know where that was going. I just sort of wrote it in a kind of stream of consciousness way, and that's what came out. That was very unpremeditated, that whole thing.
The whole thing is a bit of an experiment, because the idea is to make this narrative folk type lyric into a reggae tune that doesn't ever repeat lyrics, which is sort of out of the box of what a reggae tune is, you know.
Yeah. You know, how do you guys kind of balance the idea of almost dark reggae, because those two really stand in juxtaposition to one another? You know?
There's a ton of roots reggae that I think is really dark, and I think there's a ton of great bands. The Abyssinians are one that's an older reggae band, and a newer band like Midnight.
Black Uhuru.
Yeah, Black Uhuru. They use these really, actually to me, all the stuff from the Bible, these biblical stories that are super dark. I mean, I'm talking about people being thrown into furnaces, and I mean all this imagery, and it's to a super minor, slow beat. And to me, it's very similar actually to doom metal or Black Sabbath.
I mean, that was always our attraction to the reggae part. I mean, we were never we were always much less concerned with the content and much more concerned with the sound of it.
So do you guys let songs kind of morph once you've played them, you know, over the years?
I think you learn it to forget it. You learn it, you play it so many times that you don't have to have any conscious thought about playing it, and then unexpected things will happen, and you use those things to keep evolving.
That's why I don't know if we'll ever make a record of material that we haven't played live yet, you know, because all the development happens live, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, we can knock our heads against the wall trying to arrange things in the rehearsal room, but when we go out to play them live, everything's going to open up and breathe differently, and you know, we'll discover what's good and bad about it.
See what the audience
the hard way.
You don't really know. You don't really know the tune until you play it live. You don't really know what you have until you play it live.
People hear it.
Yeah.
You can't overthink it either, too, live. You just have to
just keep playing through it.
You just have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got to end at some point, so you have to get from point A to point B.
I need a quick fix.